right, Kyle Brandt, you were kind of semi-off this week. Kids were off from school. Wasn't really a Rewatchables taping week for you, but you had to move stuff around because Val Kilmer passed away this week. People, I don't think it was a massive surprise because he'd been sick for a long time, yet it was a total surprise because Val Kilmer is no longer with us. And we were texting. We had talked about doing The Saint forever, which I don't think would crack most people's top 5 Val Kilmer list, but for us, it does. And we'll get to that in a second. But Val Kilmer, big picture, 20,000 feet overhead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been really moved by this, more so than I even expected to be over the last 48 hours. I've been upset. I've been on, our show, Good Morning Football, talking about it as much as the NFL will allow me to just talk about an actor and not, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. And I think I'm a little surprised how upsetting it was because this is not Tom Cruise or Harrison Ford or Tom Hanks. It's not one of these like all-time leading man legends. It's just someone who has shown up in our life for years and years and was always cool. And I'm looking at him, Bill, it's like we lost the coolest character actor of all time. And that I think really was what he was. And that's really his legacy. Looked like a leading man, had the talent of a leading man, but was better off playing bass instead of being the lead singer.
Yeah, it's weird because he could vacillate. He could lead a movie and be on a poster, right? He could be on Batman. He could be in The Saint. He could be in The Doors. But usually there was some sort of gimmick that came with it. And he was really at his best in a movie like Heat. I always felt like if you're thinking of him like an athlete, you think of like Randy Moss, somebody like that, that Randy Moss could be on the wrong team and go 4-12 on the Oakland Raiders, or you could put him on an awesome team with weapons everywhere.
Yes.
And then everybody's like, oh my God, Randy Moss is amazing. And there's other actors like this. I think there's a Brad Pitt case a little bit too, where he's just way more fun in movies like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But with Kilmer, I thought what was so weird about him, super handsome.
Yeah.
Like anyone I've ever dated has loved Val Kilmer.
Sure.
So he had that, but really quirky and just kind of hard to put a finger on. And I think that's so like Heat, I don't really know what he's doing in that part. I just know I like it. The Saint, I'm not even sure he's good in The Saint, but there's something compelling about watching him the entire time. And then there's other movies like The Doors and, some of the other Tombstone, the classics that he's been in where you're just like, God damn, this guy's great. Top Gun comes in just like all-time Deanne Waiters every time he's in. So he could do everything. And yet you're right. It wasn't like the type of career of a Cruise or some of these other dudes that could just go for 35 years. There was a shelf life to it.
Definitely. And, to continue the Randy Moss comparison, he at the end of his career, before he got really sick, it was Randy Moss on the 49ers and on the Titans, and it just wasn't happening anymore. But I think also part of his legacy is, like, go to anybody and say, what's your favorite Val Kilmer role? Or, you know what? What's your favorite 3 Val Kilmer roles? I bet he's not the lead in any of those movies. I bet he's not. It's like his 4 most famous roles, or 5, 6 even. It's just like, we're at Iceman, we're at Doc Holliday, we're at Chris from Heat, and then just other kind of supporting stuff. Like his lead vehicles, even though we're doing one today, The Saint is a hack for him. He figured it out. He said, I want to play cool little interesting side characters. So just give me a movie where I play 10 of those and sew them together. And that's why it's fun to watch Val in The Saint.
Yeah, and he could also be good in movies that weren't that good, which was another weird superpower he had. Like, I really like Ghost in the Darkness. Goldman wrote it. Val's great in it, and Michael Douglas is horribly miscast, which Goldman wrote a whole chapter in his book about. But Val's good. He makes sense. He's got this weird, I think he's like a British accent or South African accent, whatever it is. He always has to bring some sort of weird wrinkle to it. Even in Heat, the hair is a little different. He's like volatile, but also hard to figure out, but kind of cool. And then the way he works the gun, like they always say how like military people would study how well he was using a gun in that. The Doors, he just disappears into Jim Morrison. There was some stuff, the SNL account that I really like on Instagram. They ran all the things from his SNL that he hosted in 2000. He's amazing. He was like one of the best random in and out hosts they've ever had. He's doing Top Gun. He does Jim Morrison again. He's just floating around all these different things. But
if you guys, if you're looking for some Kilmer this week, and we all are, one of the sketches Bill's talking about is it's with Chris Parnell and Will Ferrell. And later in life, Tom Kazansky is just an airline pilot, but he's still doing all this. He's like, we got a bogey at 6 o'clock. He's got tone on us. And Parnell's like, that's the 9:35 out of Tampa. Calm down. It's a great sketch.
He's going on the flight attendant. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
You're dangerous.
And she's like, do you want decaf?
Well, I shave with a Mach 3. If you think you're dead, all right, Tom. It's a perfect sketch. He made fun of himself, and it's funny, Bill, because like it's a pretty serious guy. It's a very serious actor. You know, like we can get into the whole thing. If people don't know, like youngest.
Oh, I'm ready right now.
Let's do it. Youngest student ever into Juilliard in New York City. And if you've never seen like his upbringing, this guy grows up in Chatsworth in LA in the Valley. He's got a couple of brothers. His younger brother is like the creative one in the family. He's the director. He's going to go on and be the successful brother. His younger brother dies in the family jacuzzi at 15 years old, like just dies there, right there on the property. And shortly after that, Kilmer shows up at Juilliard and like, let's act. And he is like a true thespian who is all about characters, acting, method, all of it. But then he wound up in movies like Top Gun, which just are for kicking ass and eating popcorn, which was fun.
And he could do comedies.
Yep.
He could do weird accent movies. He could do weird part movies. And he would say over and over again, whatever movie he was doing, he needed some sort of challenge, some sort of thing that made it interesting to him. And it's funny because in the 90s, when all the magazines kind of showed up, people covering the industry just got way better in all these different ways. The internet's coming in the late 90s. But there was an awareness I had, just somebody living in Boston who liked movies and knew nothing other than what I read of like, oh, Val Kilmer's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
That became a thing with him, and it kind of added to just the mystique of him. Like he does Batman once and he's signed to do other ones, and they basically like let him out because he was kind of a pain in the ass. By the mid 90s, pain in the ass Val Kilmer. And it was kind of like hard to say what was real and what wasn't real. There was an Entertainment Weekly story about him in 96 that kind of hammered him. Premiere had this piece about him in 97. I have some quotes, but EW in 96 called him Mr. Unpopularity. Mm-hmm. He was saying how he was commanding $6 million a picture and nobody liked working with him, which I don't think was totally true. But he was coming off from 85 to 96, Top Secret, Real Genius, Top Gun, Willow, The Doors, Tombstone, Batman Forever, Heat, Ghost in Darkness. And then it starts to get weird right around The Saint, the movie we're talking about, because he's doing Island and Dr. Moreau, which I might be the only person in America who likes that movie.
I've never actually seen it.
It's fucking batshit. It's batshit. It's the craziest. I was trying to convince CR to do it for Rewatchables, and even CR's like, I don't know, man. It's like you're offering him plutonium. And he's doing The Saint, but this is from the premiere in 97. Opinions about Kilmer swing from pro, parentheses, artist, to violently disturbed, with demanding and difficult somewhere in between. He's aloof, no, he's shy, he's a liar, he's terrific. He brings out the worst in everyone. You just have to know how to handle him. And then a quote from Tom Sizemore. Never had I heard so much crap about an actor I had such a good time with. It's all bullshit. He doesn't explain himself to people, so people talk.
Yeah.
The action is the juice.
And to me, I miss the juice. Maybe this should go under like what's aged the best. I miss the problematic on-set actor, like shoving the director and busting up the hotel room. You know, we got it a few years later after Kilmer. It was Russell Crowe.
Right.
But I mean, listen, Eddie Vedder was difficult. Axl Rose was a complete asshole. Like those were my heroes in music.
Yeah.
And there was something that was, I don't know if it's romantic, but maybe it was just good old fashioned cool about, oh yeah, he and Joel Schumacher exchanged blows on the set of Batman. Kilmer won't take any shit. He's so hard to work with, but he's so talented. They still do it. Like I thought that was kind of cool back in the day. I miss it.
Yeah, and Schumacher, I don't think history has treated him kindly the last 30 years, but he was one of the people that was killing him left and right. And then John Frankenheimer, who directed him in Island Dr. Moreau, said, I will never climb Mount Everest and I will never work with Val Kilmer again. There isn't enough money in the world. And Schumacher was throwing him under the bus left and right. But I think he was just a really passionate artist who never wanted to be as famous as he got. But all these dudes at the same time, they can't resist it. It's like, here's the Batman suit. And they're like, fuck. All right, fine, I'll be Batman. And then you like hate yourself that you did it, you know?
Well, I think that's why also The Saint is actually a great movie to do for the Val Kilmer tribute, because I think this is the most interesting juncture of his career. Like he's at the crossroads. So he's doing his thing. This is post-Heat. This is post-Tombstone. Michael Keaton decides, I'm out on Batman. I'm not doing it. Kilmer gets a call while he's in Africa saying, Batman's yours. Doesn't read a script, doesn't do anything, signs up for it. And he talks about this in his documentary. And this is when my opinion of Val Kilmer jumped leaps and bounds. He was so miserable playing Batman not just because of Schumacher, but he's surrounded by Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, who are actors, and performers, and they're just painting scenery and chewing shit up and like owning every scene. And he's sitting there saying these stupid Batman lines, and he can't move and he can't act, and it was like torture for him. It was heartbreaking to hear. For an artist, he's like, everyone wants to be Batman. I don't think everyone necessarily wants to play Batman. Like, that's Val Kilmer.
So The Saint, which was a TV series, that had been bounced around, and we'll talk about how this was like a big TV remake thing. And it comes out and it does well. It doesn't do amazing, but it had always heard about it. They're going to try to reboot it. And Mission Impossible beats it by a year.
Yeah.
Same studio, Paramount. And we'll talk about all the ways that was bad for The Saint. But I'm living in Charlestown in 1997 in Boston. Yeah. I have the illegal cable box.
Great.
Which I've talked about many times in the Rewatchables. And it would have like 12 pay-per-view channels. And if it was like The Saint was now on pay-per-view, it wouldn't be like you got it on demand. It would run from 2 to 4 and then 4 to 6 and 6 to 8 and 8 to 10. And that's how I would watch some of these movies.
It was like a train.
Just you keep it on. Time. I would be like writing my Boston Sports Guy column. And I would just have The Saint on in the background for 3 days. And I think that's why I like the movie so much, because the movie's incoherent.
Yeah.
We'll go over the plot. The plot is like, you have to watch this movie 7 times to even fully understand what's happening. It's what it is and why I like this so much. It's a great hang. Sure. This is like, I can't think of a better like airplane movie than The Saint. You're paying attention. You don't really have to pay attention. Elizabeth Shue looks amazing. Kilmer looks great. He's wearing weird disguises. There's a couple chase scenes. And it's a hang, and it's over. And this is where I'm going to throw. I'm doing it right now. The CR thinks Luke Wilson could have been Harris Ford.
You're going to do it in the open. Let's go.
Doing it in the open. I've said this forever, and I'm going to say it now. This should have been Bourne Mission Impossible. There should have been 6 of these. It really makes me mad. I've felt this way for 30 years.
And it wasn't ostensibly because it was a hit, but not like a mega hit. And then Kilmer was probably difficult. And then what is the other reason sitting there? I don't
Mission Impossible.
So Mission Impossible comes out in 96, and why not go head to head with that? They can't do it. Maverick's got too much for Iceman. That's the reason?
So I think there's other reasons. They didn't really hit the full potential of what this could have been. Partly because Mission Impossible had already happened. Now, there's this whole alternate universe where The Saint just comes out in 94 and probably shifts what Mission Impossible is.
Yeah.
But I think the reverse happened. But if you just look at it, great name. I know what it is, The Saint.
Yep.
Repeatable action movie gimmick. Guy who's like kind of a spy, but he's a thief, and disguises are his gimmick. Yep. Great lead actor. I want to spend more time with Val, just like Damon starts Bourne. Okay, great. More Damon. We have a superhero origin story in the orphanage.
Yeah, we sure do.
And the girl falls to her death, and it's like, oh shit. We're on location. There's action. There's villains. What else do I need?
I know.
We should have had 5 of these.
I know.
The Saint, Budapest. The Saint, Argentina. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yes, let's go. It's like Real Housewives. Just move them all over. The coolest thing that The Saint does is the costumes, right? Like, the problem is that Mission Impossible almost does the exact same thing with the masks, almost kind of in a cooler way.
Kind of better. Yeah.
It's like they take their best club and hit it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, Cruise is a little more compelling than Kilmer when he's just being the agent. And so I hear you on that. Like, it's Mission Impossible's a superior product. And then The Saint would have to market correct it a year later, and it didn't have that kind of firepower.
It's an all-time market correction. And the irony of it is you have Maverick fucking beating the Iceman yet again. Maverick just outthought him one more time. Same thing. No difference than Kaczynski flying in that whatever conflict we were in 1986, and Maverick became the hero. All Kaczynski did was just kill it, top of his class, just getting wins left and right. Goes on, has a better job, as we found out in Maverick, has just way more important in the country, and Maverick still somehow wins. Same thing here.
And it cuts even worse, because meanwhile, Kaczynski's trying to make up for it by getting with Maverick's girl from Cocktail, and like that doesn't do anything either. Like, there's a whole universe involved here.
It's fucking bullshit. I love this gimmick. There's a couple other things I love, but we got to do the disguises now. I can't wait for the categories.
It's so
I have everything written down. I know
you guys
that
want some
I know
coffee
that you have
or
all
something?
Go, do your thing. Do your thing with the disguises.
They're the best. And you said like it's a great hang movie or airplane movie because the lead character changes every 10 minutes and you get a different cool voice from Kilmer and he just gets to cook. So I did a top 5. I got my top 5 characters in this. All right. And I'll start with number 5. Number 5 is at the end at the embassy. It's Southern accent goatee guy.
Little Tombstone in there. Yeah.
He's number 5 because he sounds like Doc Holliday. And it's like, oh shit, he's doing Doc and he hasn't yet begun to defile himself. Number 4, Spanish guy on plane who's swinging the medallion with the seductress. Super
little
hot.
Jim Morrison. Like, once again, dips into past roles. It's a little Jim Morrison-ish.
He's got a little bit of the Lizard King. His hair almost looks like Ron Perlman in Beauty and the Beast. He's got all right, number 3. I got the grumpy cold fusion mumbo jumbo. You don't believe in this type of stuff. I like him. He's like a cross between Ernie McCracken and Joseph Lieberman. Like he's just all over the place. That's my
with the
3.
big teeth, right?
Terrible teeth.
Yeah.
Terrible comb over, and he hits on the young girl. 2, I got German lipstick guy. It's so early. Do you want some coffee or something? Love in the train terminal with the lipstick and everything.
That's the one I wrote. His name's Bruno, right?
I can't remember their names. Is it named Bruno?
I wrote that he looks like a Danish hairdresser or the Fifth BG or both.
Yes. He has the hair like the guy from Firehouse. Like it's and then number 1, I got the artist Thomas with the wine and the sculpting and I think that's the best part of the movie. That's my guy. You?
I had all those written down. I don't want to sleep on first time we see him. He's the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, climbing the building. We're in the same outfit.
He's Verbal Kint.
Yeah. He's got that. I also enjoyed Russian Maid Lady.
Sure. Quick cameo in the background with a mop.
I honestly could have spent another 40 seconds with Russian Maid Lady with him. And then Ivan Tretiak lookalike guy.
He's cosplaying Ivan Tretiak to his face. It's great.
I like that. I mean, so in the research, they openly say this because this was what he was all excited about. They didn't want him to do as many disguises because they felt like it was stepping on Mission Impossible. It was like, you motherfuckers, you were developing this before Mission Impossible. But Kilmer was like more disguises. And they were like, no, Les, you're on the corner. I feel like every scene he could have been somebody different.
I actually don't like the scenes when he's not somebody. Like the weak link of this movie, Bill, like when he's not in disguise, he's not that great. Like it's kind of a little bit boring when he's just Val Kilmer. You're like, get back to the disguise. Even the Australian guy is like, guns make me nervous. Like I like it all. I don't want him out of costume ever.
So Roger Ebert, I won't step on his review later, but he wrote, I've been trying to put my finger on the movie's key problem. And I think it may be that Kilmer plays the saint too realistically. If you take a step back and really think about James Bond, you'll realize that he is mad. So is Batman. So is the Phantom. They live in fantasy worlds of their own creation and bring a certain style to their delusions. Mm-hmm. The saint still harbors ordinary human emotions, and that will not do. Thought that was interesting. Val Kilmer almost plays it too straight. And yet, I think that's why this movie is such a good hang, because I don't feel like... I'm never like, I never have to like be too involved in fucking character arc, any of that shit. You get one flashback to the girl falling to her death in the orphanage. Jesus. Other than that, he's just having fun stealing money from people.
Yeah, he's driving his car around. He's kind of fucking around. He's leaving notes for her. But when he's just Simon, it's like, you know how you said like you don't really know what Kilmer is doing in Heat? He's kind of just underplaning and brooding. Like, he's not doing much as Simon. He's just letting the action handle it, and he's letting Moscow handle it because it looks really cool.
Yeah. The old TV show remake era, we have to mention really quick.
Sure.
This is a stretch of 2 Brady Bunch movies, The Flintstones, Addams Family, Charlie's Angels, The Fugitive, Beverly Hills Hillbillies, The Saint. There's more. And for some reason... I feel like if you look back, even though the 90s were amazing for movies and we had all these great stars and directors in there, this is also Hollywood telling us they're starting to run out of ideas.
Yeah, it's tough.
They were like, the Saint? Sure. Let's, okay, greenlit. Let's go. And they're just doing this with basically everything that came out in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
As a guy who was going to movies all the time, you and me as well, Were you going out and being like, I got to see John Goodman as Fred Flintstone? I'm there. I wasn't. I didn't care. I was kind of annoyed by it. I was a late teenager. And like, even now, I'm like, those movies I have no desire to watch. I would never show them to my kids.
Yeah, it almost seemed like the thing that hit the hardest was the casting. Even before you came out the movie, it'd be like, so John Goodman's going to be Fred Flintstone. I'd be like, okay. And then you would go see the movie. I remember one of the weirdest ones was Lost in Space, a TV show that wasn't even like,
terrible.
I never felt like that show held up. And then all of a sudden they're making it. And I think like Matt LeBlanc is in it.
Matt LeBlanc's in there. Lacey Chabert, William Hurt. Like
right.
They
it's
rounded
like,
up some
why
folks.
Did we do this?
And it amounted to nothing. We don't need, it's not like Star Trek or Star Wars. Lost in Space is kind of a reach, guys. It's what, we need that. But they're like, anything that was on TV, let's do it. They never made a Gilligan movie, but I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah. I remember in the 2000s, I was really, when I finally had like just enough juice to even get a meeting with anybody. And I was like, got to remake The White Shadow.
Yeah.
And you realize like, if something hasn't really existed for 25, 30 years, why do you even have to remake it? Because ultimately the people that are going to carry a movie or a TV show are in their teens or their 20s and they have no history with the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you remade The White Shadow right now, nobody would fucking know what it was. So like I felt that way with The Saint. I didn't know what The Saint was. It was like, Roger Moore TV show in the 60s. It was like, great. I wasn't there. I don't know what that is.
Well, they're not making White Shadow, but in 20 years, they're going to be remaking White Lotus, and people are just going to absolutely love it. It's cool. They just hang out at hotels and fuck around. Like the shows we're watching now, in 20, 30 years, they'll be something.
Yeah. Well, The Saint apparently inspired 14 movies. This was the initial thing, which started, it was all these books in the 20s, written by Leslie Charteris. Just wrote dozens of novels. So no different than Bosch or some of these ones that exist now. And it kind of peaked with the 60s TV series, which was with Roger Moore, who then became Bond.
Yeah.
Another piece of this movie, our girl, Elizabeth Shue.
Let's go.
After Karate Kid and Cocktail, there's not a lot left to do. Like she won an Oscar. So what? Like, Oscars over here, Best Actress, fine. Other people have won Best Actress. Not everybody has gone toe-to-toe with Macchio and Cruz in a 5-year span. I don't know. When you fly that coast to the sun, Kyle, I don't know what's left for your IMDb, your career, whatever. But she wins the Oscar. And this was one of her big movies after. The Oscar was really weird with certain actors. Like Adrian Brody's another one. It's actor or actress. Sometimes it's not what you think it is. And in this case, she makes The Trigger Effect, The Saint, Deconstructing Harry, and Paul Meadow are her next 4 movies. And the moment kind of comes and goes. Yeah. But this was the memorable one.
Well, then let me say this as we remember Kilmer. Shue has an Oscar. Val Kilmer, never nominated for an Oscar, never nominated for a Golden Globe, ever in his life. And I've seen a lot of things this week. And I think we should mention this. A lot of people are saying, oh my God, Doc Holliday and Tombstone, how is he not nominated? It's an outrage he wasn't nominated. I'm like, yeah, he's incredible. I went and did the Rewatchables thing, Bill, and I looked at who was nominated that year for Best Supporting Actor. Holy shit.
Loaded.
All right, 1993 was Tombstone, so it'd be the 94 Oscars. Let me read you the Best Supporting Actor nominees. Leonardo DiCaprio, Gilbert Grape.
Jesus.
Ray Fiennes, Schindler's List.
Ooh.
John Malkovich in The Line of Fire. Pete Postlethwaite for In the Name of the Father, and the Oscar goes to Tommy Lee Jones for The Fugitive. I knew that was an elevated train. Dude, that's a lineup.
There's other stuff from that year, too, that's even worse. So he was in the 92 Oscars. Here's what we have for that one for Best Actor.
Go. Give me.
Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs. Not going to argue.
No.
De Niro and Cape Fear, no argument.
Max Cady.
Robin Williams and The Fisher King, pretty good. Nick Nolte, Prince of Tides. Maybe. I don't know. Warren Beatty and Bugsy. But Bugsy's just infuriating. Bugsy's all over the place in the Oscars. And it's like, really, Val Kilmer? He sings all of the music as Jim Morrison in The Doors, not to mention everything else. So I think that was the one for him that he got boned on personally.
And remind me, that would have been before everyone started shitting on how hard difficult he was? Or maybe that's part of that?
Before. No, that was before.
Because
he made it through a movie with Oliver Stone, who I don't exactly think was Mr. Drummond from Facts of Life.
No, I think it worked. And we get to we've talked about this, but we get now up to The Saint where I remember the story about it was more than about the movie. It was about like Val Kilmer is an asshole. That was just, it was like the story was written about it. Sometimes this happens, especially back then before internet. Like Waterworld, it was just, is expensive and it's not that good. Like, don't even like it. Or like, we're even seeing it now with Snow White. It's terrible because of all these reasons. You don't even have to see the movie to know it's a disaster, or at least be told that it is. The Saint had some of that going on where it's the Val Kilmer asshole project and it's not good, but it is pretty cool.
And it's also a really good Elizabeth Shue movie. And
sure is.
I thought she's a really important 80s, 90s person. We also have Ivan Tretiak, played by the bearded bad guy from Taken 2 all those years later. Still evil. Younger, but just as evil. And then
don't you just smile when you see that guy?
I love that guy. I'm not even going to say his name because I don't care what his name is. I just know him from The Saint and Taken 2, but he's been in 40 things.
He's in everything. You need a Russian guy who's kind of evil but charismatic and has a cool beard.
Yeah.
That is your guy.
And then his son, Ilya.
Yep.
Who's also really good because he has a sleazy ponytail.
Yes.
He's got a cocaine watch. Didn't even know those existed.
Oh, yeah.
But most importantly, an evil cane. Do we just not do props enough with our action movies? Like, I don't know why he's running around with the cane. Yeah. He's using it. It's like almost like you would use it if you're walking on a tightrope crossing buildings and you need
balance beam.
You need that balance thing. But the cane, I guess he can hurt people with it. It's made out of metal. And it's never explained. He never talks about it. What is it?
He's totally able-bodied. He certainly doesn't need it to walk. This is a little window dressing, a little lipstick to put on him. They even occasionally he'll do the like, and they'll add the sound effects when he does it, like he's Zorro or something. And then at the end, you knew there was going to be a weapon, and there's like this little sticker that comes out of the end. That guy, like, let's just say we can revisit that actor when it comes to recasting. And I think they're like, we got to give this guy we got the ponytail and we got the cane and the cocaine watch. Let's dress him up a little bit.
At least if you're going to carry the evil cane around all movie, I need you to do some nunchuck stuff with it. Or like be able to flip it around and like be a little more intimidating. He's carrying it. It's like, is this guy disabled? Is he doing this so he can get a better parking space? What are his reasons? The ironic
thing was Kilmer's last movie before this is Batman Forever, in which Jim Carrey has a cane that Carrey has talked about. He worked for months to get to do all those like the baton twirling thing, and he does it the whole movie. That's what you're looking for from the young Tretiak.
You know, I haven't revisited Batman Forever in a while. It is kind of crazy how loaded that cast was. They basically 2024 NBA Dream Team, the Olympics with the cast. You mentioned Tommy Lee Jones and Carey coming off 94 when he had the 3 monster movies.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman's in it, right, as she's doing. And then Chris O'Donnell was like basically
big deal.
Gonna be Matt Damon, and then Matt Damon's like, fuck that, and market corrects him with Good Will Hunting. But the 5 of those people were pretty massive.
No, that movie played. It's that movie got the plane down. It's the next one that came out was The Disaster with Clooney and Schwarzenegger, and that one is just unwatchable garbage.
Well, Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. Yeah, it's like a career ender.
Everybody chill. And it was just, and by the way, like Kilmer is looked back and at the time, they're like, you said no to a Batman movie? Nobody does that. He made the right choice. He dodged that bullet and he gave us The Saint instead, which is way better than Batman and Robin.
So the biggest thing from this movie and the legacy after it came out, other than, I kind of like that movie.
Yeah.
The music was amazing at the time. It's amazing now. There was a real moment, and I was a big, at the same time, simultaneously, like hip hop rap, but also obviously grunge.
Of course, me too.
And both of those things are exploding at the same time, and I loved it. And I wasn't really, the electronic scene, I was about a year late to, and I had a couple friends who were in it, and there was a couple clubs in Boston that had it, and I was like, I don't get it. And this movie kind of got me into it. Mm-hmm. We have Orbital does the theme song, which I think is one of the better action theme songs. It's got the Sneaker Pimp song, 6 Underground, which I think is so good. Anytime you hear that in a movie, it's so good.
I love it.
Daft Punk does Defunk. Moby has Oil One. Underworld Chemical Brothers and Fluke is in it. And then Duran Duran's in it as like the old guys trying to play this music. And there's more stuff in there. But there was a specific moment, and I think this is the only movie that hit it correctly. Because by the late 90s, the moment kind of moved into something else. But all of them, and it's all in there. And I think it's a big drawing card for this movie. This wasn't your music. You were more Pearl Jam.
Oh, no, well, I was more Pearl Jam, but listen, and this is my what's the most 1997 thing about this movie. He's sitting around on his like shitty 1997 computer negotiating with the mafia, just blasting some Smashing Pumpkins in his apartment. No problem. And then he's in a chase scene with a shootout and he puts the pumpkins back on as he drives. And it's like, there was some exec bill that went to the filmmakers. They're like, we got to get some pumpkins in. They're hot. Just put them in. And we're like, it's a movie in Russia. It doesn't really fit. Fucking put them in. Yeah. It's a cover of a Cars song and they're driving a car. It makes sense. Just put in. And I'm bobbing my head to "You're All I've Got Tonight." It works. I love it.
It was a really important CD in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Because, we didn't have Spotify back then. We didn't have Apple. We didn't have anything. And it's like you had to buy CDs that had as many possible songs that you might have liked as possible. And this one was great.
All right. So listen, if we're 90s soundtracks, if you want to put it up there, The Crow is up there for me. Last Action Hero,
Singles,
Judgment Night, and like those, and Singles, obviously. Like Singles is probably the number one, but those are the ones you had to have.
Yeah, Above the Rim, I'd throw in too. Directed by Philip Noyce, who did Dead Calm, a really good movie with Nicole Kidman that made her not a star, but put her on the radar for everybody. Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger,
Hell yeah,
The Saint, and Sliver. With Sharon Stone. So he was busy in the 90s, but
Kirkland Brand Basic Instinct, also known as Sliver. Tough one.
I have some thoughts on him for later. Let's take a break, and then I want to tackle the plot really quick.
Let's go.
All right, so I watched this movie with my wife, who really likes it. She loves Val Kilmer. We've watched this movie a couple times. I think we might have even been dating when it was on pay-per-view, or maybe it was on HBO, but I was always into it, and she just likes Val Kilmer. So we're watching it, and I look over, and she's just smiling. And I was like, "You like this movie?" And she's like, "I really like it. I don't know what it's about, and I don't really care." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "That's perfect. You should have been on the movie poster." Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to explain what it's about.
All right, go.
Just for the people who have watched this and kind of sort of understood. So we see Simon when he's dressed like the Gimp. He steals a microchip from a Russian oil company. He's caught by Tretiak, by his son, Ilya. Yeah. All right, who's Tretiak? He is an oil billionaire.
Yes.
And this plot, which is really hard to figure out because they don't have like somebody actually explaining it to you. He's withholding energy from the Russians, and they're like having the worst summer ever because he's trying to make the president look bad because he wants to overthrow the president.
Yeah. And people are freezing to death because they can't heat their homes.
Yes. So he gets this microchip, and then Tretiak and his son hire him instead of just killing him, which I guess is a nitpick. They could have just murdered him. But instead they're like, no, we're going to use him. He's going to try to get this cold fusion thing from us, and then we'll be able to use it. And then he's going to kill Simon. So Simon figures this out. He learns that this guy, instead of selling the cold fusion formula, he's going to sell a fake formula to the president. The president's going to have this rally, and he's going to show how the cold fusion works. Yes. Then it's not going to work.
Right.
And the Russian people are going to go, what the fuck? I thought you said we had cold fusion. We've got to overthrow you. And now Tretiak is going to take over. What he doesn't realize is the Saint has 12 hours, and he gets the real formula in. Mm-hmm. So when the president shows them how cold fusion is going to work, it works. And then Tretiak, who's been saying it's not going to work, he basically becomes the Nico Harrison in this whole thing. And he's like, you traded Luka Doncic? We fire Nico. Fire Nico. He's the fire Nico. And his career's over. Yes. And that's how the Saint wins. That's what happens in this movie. I watched it 15 times before I understood it.
Same with me. I think you just said some things that explained it to me. I'm supposed to pretend I know.
Still understood.
I'm supposed to pretend I know what you're talking about, and I'm not. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened. But you know, it's the same thing. The same reaction to Mission Impossible the year before was no one understood what the fuck the plot is, and why is this guy alive now and he wasn't, and it was very, very hard to follow. And in the meantime, in this movie, it's like, what is this cold fusion? What is? I have no idea what that is and what that means, especially me seeing it at 17. Yeah. And then I know the girl who was on the soccer team with Daniel LaRusso invented it. So it's very confusing. Right. And I don't know where we're going. But thank you for explaining it to me. Never mind the people. I've never gotten it.
So it actually on paper sounds great. I don't know if they executed it. I don't think if they executed the narrative as well as maybe they could have. And if you're going to nitpick, maybe one or two more set pieces like that. One of the best scenes that we'll get to is when they're running along the river and he has to go in the water.
Yeah,
it's like 2 scenes short of stuff like that. But this is what makes me so mad why we didn't have the Saint 2, because I think the Saint 2 almost would have been like John Wick 1 versus John Wick 2, where John Wick 2, they're like, we've learned John Wick 1 worked. Some stuff didn't work. Let's fix it for John Wick 2 and it'll be incredible. And I think the Saint 2 would have been incredible. I really do. It's like a huge missed opportunity.
It would have been anything you can do, I can do better with Mission Impossible. It would have been a Cold War because they would try to one-up each other every time. And, Mission Impossible, Cruise is hanging from the wires above the floor. Like, it was really cool. Saint 2 would have been
also owned by the same studio. And there's this whole alternate universe where the Saint and Mission Impossible kind of cross over in a movie and we get Maverick versus Ice again.
The expanded
Maybe
universe.
They're trying to do the same thing. Yeah, why not? Hey, this movie had a $90 million budget and made $169 million. So it wasn't a failure. That's another thing. Like, this movie made money. What the fuck? What are we doing?
I'm just mad that they didn't have the crossover and that Ethan Hunt and Simon Templar didn't have like a shower scene in their towels where they're just nipping out and looking at each other and telling them, you're everyone's problem. Like, that's the scene we need.
Rick Rossovich is there for no reason at all. It's just Goose is there. Roger Ebert, 2 stars. He called it a James Bond wannabe, which is an irony since James Bond in a way is a Saint clone. Says the fight scenes go on too long and are not interesting. The villains aren't single-minded enough. What does work is the chemistry between Kilmer and Shue, whose scenes have a certain charm. But there's a Siskel and Ebert TV review of this, and Siskel hated it. He goes, I think the disguises are a big mistake. I think it becomes the nutty Saint, if you will. And my response to that, instead of fuck you, Raj, is fuck you, Gene.
Yeah.
Nobody asked you. Yeah. Sorry you don't like disguises and locations and action. Fuck you.
And I like the Nutty Saint. Did you not like the Nutty Professor? Because it was hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about.
FYI, the Nutty Saint sounds great. So I would watch that right now.
Miss Purdy.
Most rewatchable scene. So our choices are Moscow microchip heist, which is the Gump from Pulp Fiction disguise. But then bushy mustache English accent disguise, where he's basically like a hockey coach. He looks like he's like coaching the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
In 1996, kind of a look. But this is where we find out Tretiak Gas and Oil Industries. We're in good shape there. We get the Russian national anthem. I know that's always
brings it to your feet.
Yeah, you think of Nikolai Volkov,
Red October.
Drago. Yeah, Red October. And we get the jump off the roof into the pit.
Sure.
Which these movies will do. It's just the truck is lined up down, and that there's just enough padding that you can fall 16 stories and it's fine. I don't know if it works this way in real life, but I'm not going to question it.
How about the flex on Simon as he's falling down? He removes his mustache as he's falling. I don't know if that's totally necessary, but he lands on what it looks like an inflatable truck. And then every time he fucks over the Russians guys, you get that. It's pretty badass.
When he takes off his mustache, you think like it's going to turn into a parachute. And it's like, no, he's just fucking with him. Next one, long hair Val, your favorite character. What's this guy's name? Thomas More?
Thomas More, the artist, who is like, he does the South African accent, which is very difficult to do. You saw Damon pulled it off in the soccer movie, and then Kilmer learned it on set and Ghost in the Darkness, and he showed up. It's very difficult to do, and I have a lot to say about this scene from start to finish with Shue and the painting and the sculpture and the wine. It's fantastic. It's why you watch this movie.
So he seduces her at dinner.
Yes.
There's an uneaten entire plate of spaghetti and meatballs in front of Shue for the first part of this. I don't know if my hot cold fusion scientist was really a spaghetti and meatballs person. I don't know. I'll allow it, I guess, but she never touches it. And then it all leads to seduction, abrupt departure.
Yes.
I'm going to go smash a wine bottle against the wall for no reason. I'm going to blade like I'm Bruno Sammartino in Shea Stadium in 1978, just bleeding, and that's just too much for her. She has to have sex with him.
It's full Bret Hart, Stone Cold, the razor, cut yourself. And when he falls, there's that awesome moment where before he cuts himself, he goes, "What are you doing?" And then he just does it. And he's like, I was weeping and I was thinking of you. And she just falls for it. I had this unanswerable questions, Bill. First of all, because this comes after the badass move with the wine where he's like, "Sir, that's 400, which no waiter ever does. And he goes, "Let's take 2 of them. You count it." If you did that entire sequence to a woman, like, would that work in 2025? Like, would it just go disastrously? I don't know. If you're bleeding and cutting yourself, probably not, right?
I think it only works in Phantom Thread, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only other time that works. Yeah. There's some sort of, you're preying on a woman who's very professionally busy, but has no self-esteem with men, which I think is the way they drew this character.
Yeah.
That smoking hot, but nobody's ever hit on her because she's just, all she's doing is the cold fusion every day. Hasn't had time to meet anyone. And this guy just hits it. By the way, I skipped over a scene with her. That's one of my favorites. Dr. Emma Russell answers cold fusion questions.
Yeah, let's go.
The raw natural power just waited to be harnessed. You could drive your car 55 million miles. It would be the end of pollution. She's going and going, and I'm just like, I'm in. This all sounds great. At the same time, I still feel like, Brian Flanagan.
Yeah.
Talking about Cocktails and Dreams with him, I still feel like is a 10 out of 10 for her as a career apex. This is pretty good, though. Her laying out cold fusion.
This is, I guess, one of the smartest, most progressive scientists in the world. She gets up in front of students and she goes, "I don't really have anything to say. Like, do you have any questions?" And then they don't, of course. She's like, "Please." And finally, one of these students is just like, "How's it work?" And then she starts spouting this shit about, well, positively charged deuterons attached to the palladium cathode. It's like, is this a 12th grade science project? Does she have a diorama? It's the most unsophisticated shit ever. And Val just sits back and he's just got hard eyes. He's like, "I'm going to give away my entire style of living for this girl. I loved her." And I guess so Bill Simmons did too.
I thought it worked. I think it. Well, here's the thing. I think they probably look at it like, all right, this lady's specialty is nuclear cold fusion.
Yeah.
These people probably aren't the greatest hangs. So, and how do we excuse the fact that she's also beautiful,
right, and
fun to hang out with? So what's going to be her vice? I'd be like, oh, I can see why she hasn't found anyone. I just think they made her like try to be super insecure.
Yeah.
As she's doing the thing, right? And I guess on the positive side, mission accomplished. Because she looks like she's a 13-year-old giving a 7th grade project.
This is my book report on Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret. Like, what are you doing? There's no gravitas at all. But like, listen, I know we're jumping around. One of the key character moments for her is when they're about to do it and she goes into the bathroom and she's like, "This is really happening. This is really," I'm like, "Are you a fucking virgin? Like, what is this? Why do I feel like you're 16 at the homecoming dance? This is so weird. You're like in your 30s, I think."
She's like, "You guys, this is about cold fusion, but Judy Blume's one of my favorite authors."
What are we doing?
All right, a couple more rewatchable scenes. The Mouse Race Club.
Let's go.
Anytime there's evil Russians, there's going to be a fun club. And they're all going to be hanging around a table with their arms around hot Russian women. And there's going to be some sort of weird gambling event. And in this case, it was a mouse race. And I got to say, I was kind of in. Like, I know ESPN's trying to come up with counter programming, like pickleball and what's that one? Cornhole. Mouse races, I was really intrigued by.
Bad news for ESPN, though. Dana White's already adding it to his slap fight repertoire. We're going to race rats. Listen, I had this for Benihana. This is a movie that features Red Square in Moscow, and I'm still like, I don't know. The Russian mafia rat race prostitute coke den is pretty badass. Bill, they have a fucking mariachi band inexplicably there. I don't know why.
It's great.
That place is wild. I want to party there.
I love this scene. And then we have Simon dressed up like Tretiak going, "You know what the hardest part of being you is? Pretending to be bad in bed." It's like, whoa. Next one is Emma confronting Simon after he's escaped. And she somehow figures out right away where he is, which we'll get to in Picking Nits. But she says, "I would have given them to you if you asked," being in the cold fusion. Mm-hmm. I like calling it cold fusion. I don't even know if I'm right. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
it's cold fusion, right?
Cold fusion, yeah, exactly. That's like the whole thing.
Why doesn't Starbucks use cold fusion ice instead of doing the cold brew? Why don't they add like a cold fusion? Because it doesn't even necessarily exist or be the right thing.
We have cold fusion macchiato, no sugar for right. Bill. For Bill. That's me.
With triple non-fat vanilla. It sounds like something my daughter would order. Okay. Here's my favorite scene. I'm just going to tell you this is my most rewatchable. Simon and Emma escape from Ilya and his crew. Mm-hmm. The wide shot of the river, and they're running alongside the ice on the river, which is just fucking cool. It's definitely one of those, how did they do this? How did they not fall in?
Hell yeah.
And then Val has to go in the water. I think this also gets Great Shot Gordo Award. Val's, I think, going to be dead in 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds in that water. He's looking up again. She pulls him out. Really good stuff. We needed like 2 more of these scenes in this movie.
I remember being in the theater in this scene and people were losing their minds. They could not believe that they were pulling this off. And I just I hate to have this angle on it. I'm watching it yesterday and I was like, Tom Cruise does this before he has breakfast now. It's right. I've seen this so many times done way bigger. At the time in 97, it was like, wow, Kilmer's holding his breath for that long. Like Tom Cruise holds his breath for an hour while he's like spelunking. The game has changed since back then. You know what I mean? It's like now everybody's running 4-3. The linebackers run 4-3. It's different now.
Yeah, Cruise is doing this for real.
Yeah.
And there's 17 doctors on hand because he can only be in there for 3 minutes and 22 seconds before his body will shut down. But Cruise wants to do it.
Yeah, and he's 25 years older at this point. Yeah. Like it's he's just outdoing everybody.
Yeah. Well, we also get the Emma stripping to warm him up. Great gimmick. I have hypothermia. Can you lie on me with just your bra on? Warm me up.
Can you make sure it's like a smoking hot black bra? Like make sure it's not just some like entry level thing. Like I need something sexy. That's a landmark scene for me.
And then escaping the waterlogged tunnels, heading to the embassy is good. Get a good little embassy run.
Absolutely.
Not quite an angry run that you've patented, because she's little sloppy. And Ilya comes in for the grab, but she gets in, and then we get a little Russian roulette with Val during that scene as well. I like when we do a gimmick that's named after the country that we're actually in. I think they get bonus points for that. And then last one I have is a cold fusion parade rally. That's the actual ending, ? Sure. That's how they end this movie, with a cold fusion rally.
They do. And Bill, I don't know if you have this here or somewhere else, but you sent me the link of the alternate ending that they did.
I have it somewhere else.
Okay, good. Because
I'm happy to discuss it now.
Well, discuss it, because I had never seen that before. And I watched it riveted, and it's radically different what they did.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube, and it's in Russian for some reason. It's not in American. I don't know how it got out. But it's a whole action thing where Kilmer goes in, and it's like people are getting shot, and it's building, things are blowing up, and Ilya dies. And it's kind of seems more like a Mission Impossible movie, and I have no idea why they didn't include it. The only thing I can think of is, did they decide they didn't want the Saint to actually kill anyone in this movie? Because he doesn't kill anyone in this movie.
Yeah. I think that they pivoted to the bigger love story, because there was reshoots, and I know Shue was in a bunch of them. And after the light comes on in the Red Square, it turns into a Nicholas Sparks novel. And it's like they're at a cottage making love and like kissing each other in bed. They ended it with the love story, and that was a choice. And they're like, let's have more Shue. And I watched the video. It looked like a kind of a Pierce Brosnan era James Bond ending. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Well, how they ended it, it made somebody like my wife happy. She was just like, I really like this movie.
I know.
I like it ending in the cottage. So what do you have for most rewatchable?
I still like my guy Thomas, the artist, when he's just like, I'm just a traveler searching for truth. What are you searching for? And she's like, I found it. I'm looking for you. Let's jump in the sack. That's my scene.
What's the most 97 thing about this movie? I'll give you some options.
Go ahead.
The soundtrack we talked about.
Yeah.
A movie not realizing that Mission Impossible also existed as they were making it. I think their choices are a lot different. Every scene involving the internet, like all of them. My personal winner is the Nokia 9000 communicator.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
was a cutting edge phone in 96. It was a handheld, but it was also a clamshell pocket computer, and it had a little keyboard and apps. Yeah. And I did not have it because it was expensive. And I might not have known anyone that had it, and I might not have ever seen it until this movie.
Yeah, this was still paging people, 911, call me. Like that was, nobody had that thing. And that's why it was so cool. I do like what you said about everything about the internet. How come when they email each other in this movie, it looks like a Wheel of Fortune screen where there's like 6 words at a time? That's all you can do. And it blew our minds back then.
We could have done a Rewatchables month of just how they got the internet wrong with movies in the 90s and disclosure in this movie and the net. Like just, there's a 4-year window where they're like, the internet, we got to work it in. And they have no idea what they're doing with any aspect of it.
Yeah, this is up there. He's constantly on the computer, and they're in their car on the computer, and there's like one of those antennas that comes out of the car to get internet signal. The emailing is very strange, but again,
what do you have for this category?
I'll go with the phone. I had Smashing Pumpkins earlier, but I like the phone that turns into a computer.
New category just for you.
Oh, what do you got?
The Fatal Attraction guy gets framed award for original ending that the test audiences hated so much they had to reshoot it. In the original version of this movie, Dr. Russell collapses and dies during a lecture with about a half hour of the movie to go. And what happens is she's doing a lecture, and Ilya comes from behind and stabs her with his evil cane, and it's got poison on it. Yeah. And that's how it goes. And then the last 30 minutes is the Saint just wreaking havoc on everybody John Wick style. And the test audiences did not like it. And they had to do 2 giant days of reshoots over 8 days in December 96. And then another 8 days in January 97 that cost $2 million as they turned it into what you just mentioned. And that's why I think that Russian ending was in there, because he's getting his revenge.
Because in the last 30 minutes, it turns into Death Wish and he just starts kicking ass.
Yeah.
And I'd always heard that at the end of Pretty Woman that Edward was going to die or something before he goes back and gets Vivian. And they're like, no, give us a good ending. It's the 90s. People want this type of thing.
Well, we just did the Good Will Hunting one, and Gus Van Sant was saying that he wanted Affleck to die in a construction accident right before Will went to see about a girl. And they wrote the scene out, and they're like, this definitely doesn't work. Let's get rid of this. Yeah. Bad ideas.
No, don't do that. Because then we needed to bring Shue back for the sequel that we never got to. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that happened. And then that leads to another category that we never get to give out that often. Named after Elizabeth Shue. The Elizabeth Shue is an Oxford Electrochemist Award for most ridiculous casting. Emma Russell. She's hot. She has a heart problem.
Yep.
And she's making big strides in cold fusion. I wrote down, I love when hot single women with unbelievable jobs can't resist a movie hero who's obviously horrible for them.
Yes.
It works every time. I'm always in.
It's a great, great little thing that happens. And you and I, we've been on this a lot lately because you and I in CR, we did Nicole Kidman in Days of Thunder as the brain surgeon. We obviously had Roadhouse and Kelly Lynch as like the 10. She's the local surgeon just stapling up guys from the Double Deuce and Jasper. And it's the Kelly Lynch scale. Not to say that incredibly beautiful women couldn't have positions like this, but it's a very small percentage. I also don't think the male neurosurgeon is going to be like Legends of the Fall Brad Pitt. Like that's not going to happen either. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's not going to look like that.
What was it? There was the Peacemaker had one of these too. I think Nicole Kidman might have been in 2 movies where she had crazy jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she and Clooney both together, just sultry on the screen, but they're trying to disable nukes in the middle of New York City.
I love it. It's so rare that we get to give out the award for the actual movie we're doing. We're going to take one more break and then we'll do What's Age the Best. All right. What's Age the Best? I'll start us off with crazy Wild Wild West 1990s Russia. And then post USSR Russian villains. Hollywood's just trying to feel its way out here in the mid 90s. And they eventually settle on, let's get a guy who looks like the eventual Taken 2 bad guy. Big beard, kind of handsome, charismatic. And he's going to have an evil son with a cane. Let's go.
I love it. The second I see that guy, whatever his name is, we'll get to it later. He makes me happy. He also shows up in Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise. He runs the costume store.
Great call.
He's the guy who always runs it. I have one. I always like when there's any kind of laser force field you have to navigate to get through to steal something.
Me too, with the red lights, and you're like, oh my God, how are they going to do that? So many red lines.
And he has that cool suit that puts his body temperature to that shit always works. I also like when someone says, kill him, but bring her back alive. That sets up a great dynamic. And there's always a follow-up line where someone's like, he said alive, you idiots. Watch where you're shooting. That always happens. It's so fun.
I do love that too. Using Catholic saints as aliases.
Yeah.
Great work. They have a Ku Klux Klan Nights.
Yeah, what was that?
Moment out of nowhere. It's so weird. I kind of like it. It's like they were like, hey, are these guys evil enough? Well, when we do the reshoots, can you just do a quick scene? Just work the Ku Klux Klan in there. Why? Just do it. Don't ask. Just put it in. I don't know.
I rewound. I was like, what is that, a Klan poster? What is that doing here? I had no idea. Not a clue, but I guess that's just makes them evil or something. Don't know.
I have watching someone put on cool disguises. I just enjoy.
Always.
Russian bad guy cruise. Love it. Opening credits produced by Robert Evans.
Yeah, baby. Here we go. You see
Elizabeth Shue. She had
the
kind of lips that wouldn't quit. Apparently he was trying to develop this for years, and when they finally ended up making it, he wasn't involved at all. They paid him off to go away, but he got to keep his credit.
Oh well.
Bob Evans. Right. Bad guys with a prop we mentioned. Cold Fusion. Just I think it had a moment, which we'll get to later. And then runs to an embassy, I think is my favorite. Would Sage the best when the embassy is right there and it's like 75 yards, just somebody sprinting to the embassy. Like, what other aspects of life are like that, where you have 75 yards to get there? If you don't get there, you're basically getting killed, but not really. You're just getting captured.
I had this under unanswerable. Bill, is this the way it works? If I'm in some place with conflict, can I just sprint to the U.S. Embassy and start screaming, I'm an American, I'm an American? And then it becomes this game of Red Rover and you have to like run through them. Because if I'm screaming I'm an American, I feel like they would gun me down or something. That's alarming. I can't work that way, right?
I'm an American just seems to work. It just seems to be the secret key to getting into any embassy.
Do they know you're American? Like, do you have a Springsteen t-shirt on or something? Like, how do they know?
Why couldn't a Russian pretend they were American and get into the embassy and then start killing everyone?
Because you know they're Russians. They can't hide that shit. You know, there's not a chance. They're trained to spot those guys.
Any more What's Age the Best? Because I want to get to the Big Kahuna Burger Award for best use of food and drink.
No, do it. We covered it.
Simon breaking the wine bottle and then blading San Martino style. That would be my pick, but I do want to shout out the uneaten spaghetti and meatballs in Russia. Why is that your order in Russia?
Is that in Russia or is it in England? I lose track.
Or England, wherever she was, it was not a spaghetti and meatballs area. Or she was in England, I guess.
I think Dr. Emma eats her feelings a little bit. She's very lonely, and she goes to that restaurant. It's right down the block from her apartment. That's like, she's like, oh, Emma, you want the regular spaghetti and meatballs again? Yes, please.
Isn't it like shepherd's pie or something? Or
fish and chips?
Yeah, like you're in England.
By the way, I know you're a kind of wine guy adjacent like I am.
Yeah.
It's the Latour 1957, and apparently all the wine snobs online, did you see this? They say that it was last drinkable in the mid-'80s. So him ordering it in 1996 is like you're a decade late. So they're odd on this movie. It loses all credibility. I don't give a shit about it. But
you know, that's the kind of thing my mom would have picked up. I probably should have made her watch it. So that's my bad. We should have had that earlier. The Den of Thieves Benihana Award scene sealing the location. I still think it's that river unless you have somewhere else.
No, or unless it's the rat race coke den with the prostitutes and the mariachi band.
Oh, good one. Yeah, one of those two.
A lot of great scenes in this movie.
Kid Cudi Pursuit of Happiness Award for Best Needle Drop. It's either the Pumpkin Song or Sneaker Pimps, 6 Underground. I like how they weave in the Sneaker Pimps, so I'd probably personally vote for
It's
that.
a little more subtle than Kilmer blasting it on his Bose speakers and his Volvo with the pumpkins. So Sneaker Pimps is cool. 6 Underground, Take Me Down. It's awesome. Great song.
The funny thing about him,
song.
Yeah, totally. Him blasting pumpkins. Billy Corgan and Val Kilmer together probably would have lasted about 4 minutes before one of them offended the other. Two of the all-time be careful around those guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there. And it's not even like a cool pumpkin song, like something off Gish or Disarm.
It's right when it's starting to turn.
It's a Cars cover I never heard of since then.
The Chess Rockwell and Brock Landers Award for Best Character Name. I mean, Simon Templar is pretty good, but I really enjoy Ivan Tretiak. I don't know. That guy could be a Russian mob boss. He could be the best goalie in the NHL right now. He could be the person who overthrows the government. He's like he could be a wrestler. What can Ivan Tretiak do?
I think he might be an MMA as well.
Right. He's fighting Pereira next week.
Yes.
It's like he didn't want to take the fight with Ivan Tretiak because he's a ground game guy, but he's going to do it anyway.
Tretiak ground and pound is lethal, and Joe Rogan's just talking about it. And stand up, he's a little vulnerable, but you get him down.
Right.
He could be anything. He could definitely be standing on his head winning the Conn Smythe for the Buffalo Sabres too. Like that's a great name.
Yeah. Butch's Girlfriend Award. Weak link of the film. What do you got?
Yeah. We've hit a lot of them already. It has major third act problems, as we know, but when he's not in costume, Simon's not great. He's not terribly charismatic. He's underplaying it. He's doing this puppy dog love thing. I don't love when Kilmer is just being Kilmer in this movie. I like it when he's dressed up.
Is it better if he's just doing Tom Kaczynski the whole time?
The whole fucking
arrogant,
time.
like just super arrogant spy guy with like frosted hair?
Yeah, she's like, you stole my cold fusion. Like, what's your problem? And he goes, you're everyone's problem. I don't like cold fusion because it's dangerous. It's unsafe. That's what I want. The whole fucking, with aviators too.
I agree. I had a weak link in this similar area. Val Kilmer, master of disguise in this movie.
Yeah.
You can recognize him every time. There's not one disguise where you're like, that's not Simon Templar.
And those British police, they're like, it looks same build as our suspects.
Yeah, it's like, no, he's definitely, there's a couple that are just basically like his hair is longer or shorter. What's age the worst? Do you need the first 7 minutes in the orphanage for the back setup of?
If you haven't watched this movie in a while, you might have forgotten the first 7 minutes in which a kid gets caned by a priest, and then 2 10-year-olds kiss and one falls to her death. I don't want to see dead kids in the first 5 minutes of my Val Kilmer movie. What is that?
A dog pushes the... And it's like, okay, if you want to give them the superhero origin backstory, I just need more information then. So this girl fell to her death and this is why you became a thief?
I think so. And listen, when Michael Keaton does Batman and they kill his parents, it's not the opening scene of the movie. First, he's going to kick a little ass as Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want the dead kid to start the movie.
Yeah.
That sucks.
This is definitely a start the movie 7 minutes in. It's on a bunch of places like Paramount all over the place, but I would start at 7 minutes in. The Internet in 97 we mentioned as an age the worst. Philip Noyce said afterwards that he made a mistake casting Val Kilmer and that he should have chosen Russell Crowe instead. And I just want to tell him to fuck off. He chose correctly. Maybe direct a better movie. Maybe this is why your career hasn't gone that great the last 28 years. Maybe look in the mirror a little bit.
Well, Noyce, who sounds like a Key and Peele sketch, he is just coming off working with Harrison Ford for 2 straight movies. And maybe he liked that experience a little bit better. Now, listen, Bill, let's not pretend that the idea of like a young, badass, like LA Confidential era Russell Crowe wouldn't have killed it as the same. Let's not pretend. No disrespect to Val. We're here for Val, but it would have been pretty cool.
How about this? I love both.
You're standing for Val. You're right.
No,
it's Val
I love
week.
both.
It's Val week.
Listen, we've done proof of life on the Rewatchables. Like that, if you want to know how I feel about Russell Crowe, you just go there. That was one of the 4 most stunning movies we've done. I love Russell Crowe. He would have been great in this movie.
Yeah.
But I also think it's an important Val movie because all the reasons we talked about at the top, it's such a weird movie. Like if Russell Crowe's in it, it actually has a chance to be a better movie that's probably not as memorable.
I know. It's bad form to, after it's not looked on great, to blame Val. I mean, you tell me, is this is JJ Redick not losing in the playoffs and blaming LeBron? Like, isn't that like it's the coach blaming the player? It's not cool.
I don't like it. And then we mentioned this earlier, but Kilmer constantly pressing for more disguises.
Yeah.
But Paramount was nudging him off because they really like that gimmick from Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And I don't know, hurts my feelings. Any other What's Age the Best? Because we'll move on.
What's Age the Worst?
What's Age the Worst?
The stunts aren't up to par in 2025. The stuff they do in this movie, Cruise does in his personal life for free. It's just, we've seen so much since then. It hasn't aged great.
Great point. Ruffalo Hannah Rubinek Partridge overacting word. I honestly couldn't find anything. I think there was some underacting. The
underacting award would be interesting. The Val Kilmer is the Saint underacting award. It's I'm a reach. Like Kilmer, after he comes out of the freezing water, is really going for it, but he should be going for it. He's freezing to death. Elizabeth Shue, who is probably 35 years old and acts like she's never had sex before or kissed a boy in her life in her bathroom, fixing her hair and saying, this is happening. Take it easy. You've been down
that's good.
It's a
good
little
answer.
much.
The CR thinks Luke Wilson could have been Harrison Ford hottest take award. I already gave mine, so if you don't have one, we can move on. Or do you have one?
Oh, I have a hottest take.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was going to go Val, but all roads lead to Shue for me. That Shue always fits. I think Elizabeth Shue is the greatest movie kisser of all time. I think she's the GOAT.
Wow.
She is fucking going for it in this movie. Every time she and Val kiss, it's intense. It's kind of an open mouth. And then I had the pleasure of going down a YouTube wormhole and just going every time cocktail, she and Cruz in the water, and Cruz is real weird, but like there's like full tongue and everything. It's intense as hell.
Cruz felt like he got a boner under the water there. They're really kind of going at it. Yeah.
And if you look at her and LaRusso outside the arcade, they're like really young and it looks like it, but big time, like no little tight lip thing. I even watched Leaving Las Vegas, in which she's kissing someone drinking himself to death, and it's still gorgeous. I think she.
Wow, you really did some scouting for this.
Yeah, and it was just Elizabeth Shue kissing. My computer was like, "Wow, this stuff's light for you. This is great. I can handle this. This is PG rated." And I think she is the greatest kisser of all time. She goes for it so much in this. It's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you.
Great one. Casting what ifs. We'll go through this quick. Mid-'80s. Pierce Brosnan allegedly attached, didn't work out. 94, we have Robert Evans, Steve Zalian writing, Sidney Pollack directing. Ralph Fiennes offered $1 million to be in it and passes.
Oh, Schindler.
Yeah. And Ralph Fiennes, actually, I have it because it was I went and found the piece where he kind of shit on it. He said, this is in a Premiere magazine, 1994.
Yeah.
He's red hot. Quiz show's coming out.
Yeah.
He's in demand. It's like, I turned down the Saint. Quote, we've all seen the sort of sophisticated, smooth tuxedo gent working his way from gambling tables to sports cars to helicopters to beautiful women in bank vaults and villains with funny voices and mustaches and mountaintops and Greece or whatever, says Fiennes. I just think it's been done. It's boring. How about this? Fuck you, Ralph Fiennes. Double fuck you in this episode. Right there, buddy.
Gene Siskel and Philip Noyce. And
Right.
fuck yourself, Voldemort.
Triple crowd of fuck yous. Why are you shitting on things that I like in movies? Who invited you to the party?
Just pass and say it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Sorry, your little fucking snooty career. You didn't want to you jump from a helicopter to a casino table with beautiful women and villains with a bad mustache. Sorry, buddy.
You don't want to save Cold Fusion? That's your business, but somebody else can play the role.
What a jerk. I'm glad he didn't win the Oscar.
Yeah, he didn't. He lost. Did you see Bill, in the recastables or did you see Schwarzenegger's name? Was that
I didn't believe it. So here's what I believed. So they definitely, Noyce had Mel Gibson. That was for real. And they developed it for a couple months. And Mel Gibson decided he had just spent a bunch of time away from home for Braveheart. Didn't want to do it. Passes. Yeah. Hugh Grant meets with Noyce. Didn't like the director's approach. Passes.
Hugh Grant.
And then after that, it's like Kenneth Branagh, Schwarzenegger, all these. I just don't know what. I don't believe any of it.
You don't believe in all this Cold Fusion mumbo jumbo, do you?
We gotta save the Cold Fusion. I just don't see it.
South African accent. He can't even do an American accent. He's been here 50 years.
No.
What is he doing?
I don't see it. Val Kilmer then turned down Batman and Robin. Made it easy for everybody. Best that guy award. Take It 2 guy we mentioned. I've never seen Ilya again, so he's thin. But in the crew, face scars guy who's been in a couple other movies, who has the big scars on his cheeks. And I swear, I don't even know where he's from, but I swear I've seen him in other stuff, and he jumped out to me.
Okay. He's in a lot of stuff. That's our guy, Tommy Flanagan. He's in Braveheart. Yeah. He's in The Game. He's around, and he's in. And his character in this movie, it's ridiculous. His character's name's Scarface, which is so on the fucking nose. It's like, I don't even know why they called him that. But, I'm sensitive now with that guy ever since Craig got all sensitive and became like, I know,
he's in our heads.
I know Tommy Flanagan's name. It's like the Bob Balaban rule, so I don't know if that counts. I know Tommy. I mean, I know his name.
It might be Ilya, because I don't know if I ever saw him again, but I would have immediately said, Ilya.
You want to know something cool about Ilya? His real name, his first name is Valery, Valery, and he goes by Val. So he was two Vals on the same fucking set chasing
Double
Isn't
Val.
that weird? Yeah,
Jesus.
you don't see it.
Dion Waiters Award. Emily Mortimer plays the stewardess.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just a minute and a half in, and they had been together in The Ghost in the Darkness, and I think she liked Val. Yeah. So this is the case of like Val Kilmer, obviously not a bad guy. Some people liked working with him. She came in and flirts with him for 90 seconds and is out. So who did you have for this?
I thought you were going to say Emily Mortimer did not enjoy working with you. You know what? Fuck you, Emily Mortimer.
No, she doesn't get a fuck you. We're out of fuck yous. We've already handed 3 fuck yous out. Ray Fiennes with the big one out of nowhere.
Yeah,
what a dick.
Fiennes took a beating in this one.
Jesus. Who asked you? Beautiful woman, bank vaults, villains with funny voices and mustaches, and mountaintops in Greece or whatever. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great, you dick.
Yeah, or whatever is so snooty. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, go make your little Vatican movie. The little big twist at the end. Good luck. All right, next one is the recasting couch director city. What do you have for this?
I mean, we can't change the city. It's post-Cold War Russia. It looks fucking amazing. No. I watched the movie. I'm like, are they really there? They are.
Yeah.
They're really there. It's incredible.
So you have nothing?
I wouldn't change the city. How
about actor, director? I have director.
Well,
I've done Philip Noyce because he can fuck off.
He's in the fuck you line with Gene Siskel.
How about young Fincher? Let's bring him in.
I'm always up for Fincher.
Don't do the game. Do this instead. Then do the game after.
This would have been right after 7, I think.
He's doing the game, but maybe he could have snuck out The Saint before the game, like right in between.
Yeah, because Kilmer and Douglas are friends from the Lion movie. Like they would pass it along. Like there's a synergy there. I would take Fincher. I'll always go with the Val Kilmer, Tony Scott. Like it's sitting right there. I mean,
Tony Scott. That's a great one.
Val's his guy. I mean, that's like those guys are tight.
What do you have for flex category?
I had a couple of them. I was going to do the porn parody, but that's too easy. It's just called The Taint. And then I was going to do, I think I'm going to do, Bill, I'm going to do the Dan Campbell, holy shit, they're really going for it award.
Yeah.
And that goes to, oh my God, Elizabeth Shue is actually going to strip down and press her body against freezing Val Kilmer in the black bra. We rewound that scene so much. It was in the 90s Rewind Hall of Fame. It's sexy as hell. I love that scene, and it kicks it up a notch because up to that point, Elizabeth Shue's the girl with the diorama and the spaghetti. And now she's like, all right. I got to become a woman right now. It's awesome.
Great one. Half-assed research. Voice of the radio announcer at the end of the movie is Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Who knows if this is true, but this was in some of the stuff written. Well, filming The Saint in 97, the crew was allegedly instructed to avoid making eye contact with Val Kilmer entirely. I never believed this. Anytime I see this in the research, I automatically don't think it's true. This is why it's half-assed. I'm just trying to think of imagine you're doing Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
Or let's say you're doing the Sunday Eisen show.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we had talked to the crew. Eisen doesn't want anyone making eye contact with him. When he's coming through the hallways, you just got to look down. That's insane. No, anyone who's actually been in a set or a crew, anything like that, and the amount of people you have to pass by constantly, how do you tell them to look down when they see the star? I've never believed this.
Well, you're about to believe because your instincts were just off. It's not Rich Eisen, but I'm breaking some news here. The reason Peter Schrager left Good Morning Football is he had a no eye contact rule on set.
And
eventually it rubbed the crew wrong and they kind of turned against him. They said it's him or me. And then so he went to ESPN where I don't know if he has the same rule there. But Peter, I'm sorry to break this, but it's true as well. No eye contact with the Schrags.
Fuck. I had always heard rumors about that, but
I can confirm.
That's a bummer.
Our relationship is over. I'm just going to burn it down now. It's over. I don't care. Screw it, Peter. Sorry, bud. You got stuff on me too. Air it out. No eye contact for Peter, ESPN. You hear me, Van Pelt? Don't do it.
It's a great feud. Make people take sides.
I thought, Bill, you're going to show up for this pod wearing a Team Schrags t-shirt. I'm so relieved that you didn't. I thought for sure you were. But,
I have complicated feelings about it.
Yeah, I know.
As you know, because it's ESPN, the alleged worldwide leader. A May 96 Entertainment Weekly set report cited Val as being volatile on set, missing call times, and putting out a lit cigarette in a crew member's face. Elizabeth Shue and producer Mace Newfield denied the misconduct, praised his professionalism, dedication, and pointed out how he eventually worked 7 days a week during the reshoots, which were 3 months for the movie's release. We'll never know what actually happened.
He put out the cigarette on the crew member's face.
I'm going to say that reeks of bullshit.
That's like Redfoot flicking the cigarette in McManus's face in Usual Suspects. Like, you don't do that. If you do that, like, someone gets killed. You can't
ridiculous.
Do that. Come
we're
on.
We're going to take one more break and we're going to do Apex Mountain. Apex Mountain. Kilmer? No. Right? It's a no.
I think it's 95 when he does Batman and Heat.
I think Batman's his Apex.
When he's doing this, his reputation is in the gutter and people don't want to work with him. It's the year before this, I think. 2 years before.
Elizabeth Shue won an Oscar, so this can't be it. Disguise movies, probably not, because Mission Impossible market corrected it.
Yeah.
Post USSR Moscow movies. I need to see a complete list.
Did Bourne ever go to Moscow? I feel like he went everywhere. Yeah, probably. It's up there. It's cool.
The electronic music scene in the 90s, I'm going to say this is right around the apex. This was the one that really, and especially Orbital I had, Sneaker Pimps, definitely. Yeah. Moby's really feeling it right around now. All these people, it's all happening for the whole scene.
You know it's big because the Trediak's guys, like his goons, are driving around blasting the electronic movie in their cars while they're looking for somebody. Like when you're looking for somebody, you turn the volume down when you get there. Like, I can't even make it through a Trader Joe's parking lot with music on, and they're like zipping around looking. It's cool. It's energetic.
I have one more Apex Mountain. So if you have any, rip them off.
No. Give me what you got. I feel like you're about to crow hop into this one.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt.
What do you got? Oh no, what do you got?
Cold Fusion. I think this was Apex Mountain, and here's why. I did some research, and here's what the research basically came with. This is where it came out.
All right.
This is from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There is currently no accepted theoretical model that would allow cold fusion to occur.
Mm-hmm.
It's the entire premise of this movie, including the ending. And apparently it's just not a thing that can actually happen.
So I have it. It's impossible, and because it's the opposite of hot fusion. You just do it at room temperature. I always looked at cold fusion, Bill, like people look at hoverboards. Like, when are we going to have that shit? We've been waiting. When are the flying cars? And where is free, clean energy for the entire world? That movie has been out for 30 years or something. There's still no cold fusion. I guess it never will be.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Cruise or Hanks? Obviously Cruise, and it kind of hurts to give this one to Cruise to begin with because he market corrected the Saint. Scorsese or Spielberg?
I have Scorsese because part of Kilmer's story when he was young, he would make audition videos for himself, and he made an entire short movie of him as Henry Hill that he got to Martin Scorsese because he wanted to play Henry Hill. And this is after he gave one to Kubrick to play Joker in Full Metal Jacket and also didn't get it. I think he was like completely obsessed with Scorsese, and I would love to see him do it. We'd have to do it probably in Rome instead of Moscow, or maybe Milan or something, but I think it works.
I think with all the reshoots and rewrites, probably moving some stuff to Rome would have been pretty easy. The Oxford cold fusion specialist is just now in Rome.
Yeah. We'd have to upgrade Emma's pasta and meatballs to something that like...
Then the pasta and meatballs makes sense. Yeah. Now we're doing chicken parm and there's like some arancini on the side. What role would Philip Seymour Hoffman have played? Yeah, the cold fusion specialist was where I landed. The guy who has 12 hours to basically make it work. But he's wearing a Scotty J t-shirt that's too tight.
That's the problem with this category. Either for some reason I just think of Scotty J or I think of what's our guy's name in A Talented Mr. Ripley.
Freddie.
Like I always try to put those two guys in, and those guys are so weird. But listen, my answer to this is I want to see him play the fucking Saint. I want to see him do all those parts.
Oh, wow.
Let's really let Phil Seymour Hoffman cook and be the Russian guy and the artist. Like, that's the artist part. That's what I want.
I like it. Pick a nits.
Yeah.
A cold fusion scientist is going to tell some random handsome guy with a bad accent that she met 3 minutes ago that she's figured out everything with the future of the world at stake. Just volunteering this.
And she's also gonna write it on some fucking Post-it notes and put it in her bra. What are we doing? It's the secret of the world. Everyone's looking for it. Why don't you just put it in a save for a computer? Anything. It doesn't make sense.
I have a bunch. So you rip off yours and then I'll go.
All right. I have a couple. Doesn't his wig come off during sex? Like they derobe and they go at it and he's got a wig on and it doesn't even become askew or anything. Like it just tells me that maybe the sex was kind of tame and the vibe I'm getting from Emma might indicate that. Yeah. And then I have a similar one. Right after she's lying on him for like however long to warm him up, is it possible he can get up and run away from the Russians with a massive erection? He definitely has. There's no fucking way he's running up and down stairs like that immediately after that. It always struck me as like, God, that's so hot. I don't think he'd be able to run afterwards. I think he's fully aroused.
Yeah, he probably has some weird saint thing that he can like put like a little like saint tack, just push it against and the boner goes right down.
Like a reverse Viagra. Yeah. So those pick nits with me. And then the only other one I have is like, she's sitting there with those British detectives or whoever they are, and she starts listing saints, and she's like, isn't it obvious? It's all saints' names. Is there any? It's like, you caught that fast? That felt like the Tone Loc, this slick thing is no joke moment from Heat, where like the whole movie turns on that. It's a little much.
I had that as well. First of all, if he's like this amazing state-of-the-art spy, you probably don't want to leave a calling card of just saints. Yeah. Anybody can crack that one in 5 names. Simon recovers from hypothermia in about 12 minutes.
Yeah, he get really fast. That's the power of Shue, man. It's just incredible.
Pretty sure you're in the hospital overnight and they're feeding you intravenously and trying to bring your body temperature back up. He's fine. Clothes are still wet. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He waltzes into the Russian president's office at one point and is like, I'm an American. Yes. And the guy's like, I just believe this guy right away, even though he somehow got in here. Nothing, not afraid. It's very strange. Not enough disguises that we have mentioned before. How does he keep changing this many disguises when he's on the run all the time? And where does he keep them? What's in that backpack?
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Wigs, mustaches, hair pieces. Everything is like state of the art, perfect. Just when in like a knapsack. Her,
the last kiss that he has before she goes into the huge like auditorium, he shows up 2 minutes later in the full Ernie McCracken wig, glasses, and teeth, and everything in a completely different outfit.
Just perfect.
But it's like
does that in a men's room,
or like a phone booth or anything. He just gets
nothing got
really
damaged
quick.
During any of their. No, he's in cold water at one point. Yeah. And then this is my big one. So Emma has a heart condition. We've established this right away.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big thing. It's the first thing we see is she's grabbing for pills. She's running around the last half of this movie like she's fucking Jackie Joyner Kersey. Those heart pills are gone. The heart condition has been solved. She's just flying around. She's Zola Budd, just sprinting.
When she gets to the embassy, she turns into DK Metcalf running down Buda Baker, and it's like, Jesus, Dr. Emma, you're in the wrong field. That's the real
heart is fucked up. Ridiculous. Sequel, prequel, Prestige, TV, All Black Cast, or Untouchable. We covered this. Definitely a sequel. Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Doris Burke, Sam Jackson, Nell, Byron Mayo, Barney Cousins, Tony Romo, Harley Mays, Chris Collinsworth, Daniel Plainview, Longlegs, or Wilford Brimley in The Firm? What do you got?
Well, it is still the NCAA tournament going on, so I would like to hear Gus Johnson calling Elizabeth Shue warming up the Saint with her body heat, and I think it would sound like this. Simon Templar, young fella, ha ha! Freezing his ass off in the Russian slums. No shot clock. Dr. Russell strips down. Going tit for 98.6. Hot fusion. Yes, sir. Woo! Gus, I love you. I don't know how you do it.
I love it. I got to add Gus to the main thing. You've done it now 3 times. We love Gus.
It's the best. I love Gus. Love you, Gus.
I was going to do, is this movie better with Peter Schrager fake laughing to a Mike Greenberg Jets joke in mid-October? But I need to workshop it. I need like another month.
All right. Well, I have not seen that happening because I'd be like that guy in the reality show who's watching his girlfriend have sex with a new guy. I can't watch Peter Schrager on Get Up on ES. I can't do it. So I've heard it's happened. And I'm glad it's happened. I'm very happy for Peter, but we had a 9-year marriage. I can't see him with his rebound relationship or his new marriage. I just can't do it, Peter. Can't do it. I love you, bud. I'll tune in eventually. I just need an adjustment period.
It's going to be a while for me. Just one Oscar. Who gets it? So probably the theme song? That like the score?
Listen, I laugh out loud when he drives past the British cops at the end. He honks the horn of his fucking Volvo and it goes, he has, like it's Dukes of Hazzard or something. Why does he have the signature honk?
The probably unanswerable questions for me ties into the Zawantne Award for what happened the next day.
Yeah, sure.
How long are these two lasting?
Yeah.
She's just solved cold fusion. He's a fucking really weird guy with clear damage from an orphanage who likes to wear disguises, who doesn't seem to have any sort of loyalty to anything. And now they're just in a cottage together. And it's like, hey, should we adopt a dog?
Yeah.
Have my eye on an Irish setter.
I've always wanted to start a winery. Should we do that together? No, I don't think so. I can't see them playing categories like on game night. But I don't know if he's going to leave her. Like, isn't she the one who has all the power now and all the money? He's trying to get up to 50 million and she has like the $1 trillion idea. So maybe he's trying to stay with her because he's driven by money as much as anybody.
But she's never kissed another man before, as we find out in multiple scenes. So maybe she feels indebted to him.
Remember in Wedding Crashers when Isla Fisher tells Vince Vaughn like that was her first time? Like, I feel that scene was missing from this movie. Like, I just want you to know that was my first time, Thomas. What? What do you mean? Like I think that was her first time.
Unanswerables. We've covered everything. I don't have any other ones unless you have any.
I just had the question, is Thomas's seduction of Emma illegal or immoral? Where like he finds out everything about her, completely seduces her based on like information from breaking and entering her apartment. It's probably not ideal, but they did it in 1997 and nobody batted an eye. And then we already covered running into an embassy and saying you're American.
So I actually do have one. I wasn't looking at my document correctly. Cold fusion saves Russia.
Yeah.
Keeps the president in charge.
Yeah.
What are the ramifications globally of a warmer Russia?
Yeah, that's tough.
Where are we now all these years later? Does Putin even take over?
He takes over.
Where are they going? I think he grabs it anyway. Does he hoard the cold fusion for himself? Does Russia become more of a superpower? Like, are we speaking Russian right now? Is Ivan Drago, does he win in Creed 2? A lot of does Trump ever get elected? Like, we could just does Peter Schrager ever end up on Get Up? Fake laughing at a Justin Fields joke in mid-October. Like, what happens?
Peter, I didn't see the joke. I'm sure it was a very funny Justin Fields joke. I'm sure you're killing it. I love you, bud. I don't like the idea of Russia getting like this free unlimited energy, especially since Bill, that president is a beta. Like that president is soft as hell. Like he does not have the clutch gene. He's sitting there in his jammies while people are kicking his ass. He's going to be out in seconds and some dictator is going to take over. And I don't know what the translation in Russian is for get up, but I think we'd be saying it right now.
Coming up next. Can LeBron use cold fusion to play 82 games next year? We're going to find out with Monica McNutt.
Can Dak Prescott win Super Bowl? We talked to Peter Schrager and get up.
Love you, Peter. You're doing a great job over there.
These jokes are all out of love.
Yeah.
What piece of memorabilia would you want or not want from this movie? Obviously, the cane would be just a huge win.
Bill, you love that cane.
You're the only other person who would be excited I had it, but
yes.
I also, the original Nokia phone, I think would be pretty good.
I'm going to look on the online if I can see and get you that cane, like at the end of the year gift. Mine is always, if there is a film, and we do a lot of them, where there is a boot that has a hidden knife in it, I want that fucking boot. I want the boot, whether it's from Roadhouse, whether it's from Cyborg, there's a knife in a boot. That is always going to be my piece of memorabilia.
You know, I didn't write this down.
Yeah.
And I should have. And it would have been a great, probably an answerable question because I thought it when he did it and then I just forgot. I must have been distracted.
Okay.
How do you get the blade to come out of the boot? Is it like, do you have to tap your heel a certain way? Is it like a little button attached to it? I've never understood how the bad guys can make the thing come out.
Okay. Well,
do you have to tilt your foot to the right? Like, what do you have to do?
You couldn't because it would come out when you're just walking then. The Roadhouse guy is so white trash that his blade is just out all the time.
Right.
There's no retractable. But I think for Simon, he has something digital like a remote in his wrist or something. But I don't know. You flick it out with your toe. I'd like to find boots with knives. Do they make them like for people for self-defense and things like that in bars? I don't know if that's an actual industry.
His knife was even better. You could remove it out of the boot.
Yeah, you're right. It was just stored in there. Yeah, I don't know. I
had
like
a lot
knife
of questions.
in my boot. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Maybe Nike will start making them.
Please.
The Coach Finstock Award for Best Life Lesson. I narrowed it down to either if you have an idea that could save the world, don't put them in cocktail napkins in your bra, I think is a good life lesson. And then change up your aliases.
Yeah.
Don't stick with the saint gimmick. Like if I become a spy, I'm not just going to use Dream Team basketball player names. It's like, today I'm Karl Malone. Tomorrow I'm Christian Laettner. Oh, we saw there's a Kevin Love on a flight to Moscow. It's like, no, I'm not, you're not going to be able to solve my aliases. I'm just going to use different aliases.
It kind of looks like evil spy Bill Simmons. Nope. Says right here, Clyde Drexler. Let him pass. That's it. All right. It's airtight.
It's ridiculous. Hey, you're doing it that way. You kind of want to get caught. Like, what's the upside? The upside is you guys are so stupid. I was using saint aliases the whole time and you didn't figure it out. Like it's like this weird arrogance.
Yeah, it's. I think you hit it right. It'd be like if you just did, my secret thing is I do Red Sox outfielders. They'll never find out. Like, yes, they will. There's only so many Catholic saints. It's not that many.
I'm using Get Up Partners of Peter Schrager.
Do you want to do a Rewatchables of just tomorrow's episode of Get Up? I don't know.
We're just gonna have to have him come on and do one with us. Yeah, he's probably not allowed. Double feature choice. Mine's controversial, so you go first.
So is mine. All right. I think it's like we're bringing it full circle about Val Kilmer. Like once I see this and I see him play these little characters and do these voices, I'm putting on Tombstone. I'm ready to play for blood. I'm the Huckleberry. I'm fucking ready. In Vino Veritas, I'm going to watch Tombstone.
Mine is The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Come on.
No, it really is.
Make the case.
I'm the only person who likes this movie. I have nobody to do it on the Rewatchables with. And the only reason I like it was because it was on that pay-per-view channel and I had it on all the time and I became fascinated by it. And just the concept of this island where they were basically mating humans and animals. Mm-hmm. And then these hybrid kind of creatures were on the island. But then Marlon Brando's there and it's the end of his career. It's falling apart. He's just fat and crazy in every scene. And then Kilmer's in it with this look like, what's wrong with my career? I think you might need to give it one more chance.
Even as someone who hasn't seen it, I know there's one part of it that you're forgetting. Isn't it the world's smallest man, isn't it? Like a very small human being?
Yeah,
is that the guy who became friends with Pedro Martinez? Is it the same guy?
Not positive. Yeah, or it's like his brother. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So I know he's in it, but I've never seen it. I've got to say, Bill, probably not going to be seeing that movie at some point. I don't think.
I might have to solo that pod. I might just have to do it myself, like I did with Castaway during COVID. I might just have to do the self Dr. Moreau.
It's a better play. Any free time I have, I'm trying to allocate to Jim Cotta. I can't dedicate it to Dr. Moreau. I'm trying to put it all towards Jim Cotta. That's for you too.
Well, I was mailing you pictures of Billy Jacoby this week, trying to get you properly excited for that. We know that's coming down the road. We're definitely doing Just One of the Guys this spring. It's happening.
Dude, listen, it was locked. And then Val Kilmer passed away. Like it changed the whole schedule. I had takes already. I was ready. We'll get there.
It'll happen. All right. Who won the movie?
Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, I hate saying this, the late, great Val Kilmer.
I agree.
I miss you, Val.
Thanks for doing this on short notice. Thanks to Jessie Lopez and Craig Horlbeck for producing. Don't forget, you can always watch these on video on the Spotify platform, and you can check out the Ringer Movies YouTube channel as well. So next time you're on, probably Just One of the Guys. Something we're going back to the 80s. We've done too many modern. We're not modern people.
Let's
go back to our favorite decade. Kyle Brandt, great to see you as always.
Thanks, man. You too.
Thanks, man.